Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to dive into the present perfect. Now, if you're watching this video, you're going to be upper intermediate or advanced level in English. I'm sure you know how to compose and construct a sentence with the present perfect. Have, has, plus the verb in the third form. Easy, right? What I find a lot of students struggle with is, fine, you can make a sentence, you could do an exercise with the present perfect, but you don't really know when and where to say it, when and where to write it. So we're going to dive deep into the situations where you need to use present perfect, situations where you should avoid using present perfect, and situations where you can use present perfect or present perfect continuous or past simple and not a big change in meaning. Let's jump right in. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Melissa B. Duarte. I'm the author of the Global Business English Mastery Series. I write books on business English. I'm currently writing my grammar book. It's taking me 6 months. It takes a really long time to write a really good book. When it's written, I will link to it down below in the comments. Anyways, let's jump in and make sure you've mastered the present perfect. Okay, so first things first, why? Why do we use present perfect? It's one thing to learn the structure of the grammar. Fine. You can complete a sentence with the correct grammar usage. You can fill out an exercise. You can pass a test with this. Fine. But if you don't know actually when to use it, when to choose it, then you're not really using the grammar. You're not really using the language. So to use the present perfect, you want to use it for life experiences. The present perfect, if I was to give an umbrella rule, like umbrella means covering everything, a rule for usage of the present perfect, it's something that happened in the past and has a connection to now. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, and again, I'm going to break this down in a bit more detail. But if I had to give one rule, that's the rule. Okay, so I can't really get into the present perfect until I put it together with the past simple. And I find this is the area that most students are uncomfortable with. And this is where most students decide, I'm not going to use the present perfect because I'm not 100% sure or confident that I'm using it correctly. So when we use the present perfect as opposed to the past simple is when we don't say a time. So past simple, if you use, past simple, a lot of students, as you become upper intermediate and advanced, you're thinking, oh, I have a lot more advanced grammar than past simple. You totally need past simple. I use past simple as a native English speaker all the time. If something was completed in the past and it's done in the past, that's past simple. It's perfect English. It's perfect grammar. You need past simple. Present perfect is only if there's a connection to now or you're not saying or stating the exact time. So let's compare a couple things here. So I've talked to HR about my holiday. I've talked to HR about my holiday. I have talked to HR about my holiday. You're talking with a colleague, you want to go on holiday, you want to make sure you get that time off work approved. Oh, have you planned your holiday? Yeah, I've talked to HR. So you're just saying something that you've done, but you're in the past, but you're not saying when. Or I talked to HR yesterday. I talked to HR this morning. If you gave a time and that time is in the past, you want past simple. If you're not giving a time for a past action, present perfect is beautiful and it's perfect. Use it. Next one here, I've had 3 meetings today. I've had 3 meetings today. So today isn't over. Today isn't over. Or I had 3 meetings this morning. If I say this at 4 o'clock, well, the morning's over. So I had 3 meetings this morning. And this morning is in the past because it's 4 o'clock. But I've had 3 meetings today. My workday ends at 6. The day's not over. So this is when we want to choose the past simple or the present perfect, depending if you're stating the time, which is in the past. Next one here is an action or result connected to now. So I've lost my keys. I'll be late for the meeting. I've lost my keys, so I'll be late for the meeting, or I'll be late for the meeting. So you have a meeting to go to. You can't find your keys for your car. You send a message to your team. I've lost my keys, so I'll be late. I've lost my keys. I'll be late for the meeting. So a past action with a present result. That's when you want to use the present perfect. Or I lost my keys. I canceled the meeting. All that's in the past. I lost my keys. I canceled the meeting. And this is after me canceling the meeting. So if something's in the past, they think about the past simple as something done in the past and that door has been closed. There's no connection to now. So I lost my keys. I canceled the meeting. Past simple, past simple. I've lost my keys, so I'm canceling the meeting. I've lost my keys, past action, connection to now. So right now, in this email, in this call, in this voice message, I'm canceling the meeting. So a past action with a connection to now. Next one, if you're talking about life experiences in general, without naming the time or the date. I've worked in France. I worked in France from 2018 to 2022. So if I say from 2018 to 2022, Well, it's 2026. That time is gone. It's in the past. There's no connection to now. Present perfect always needs a connection to now. I've worked in France. You're just talking about a life experience, and you still have that experience. And because you're not naming a time, it's present perfect, not past simple. The last little one here is using the past simple when the past time is stated. So yesterday, for example, I sent the report last Friday. I sent the report to the client last Friday. I've sent the report. So if you don't state when you did a past action, present perfect, that's your go-to. Okay, now we're talking about present perfect in these different categories that I started with in this video. I find that grammar, there's a disconnect between grammar that students are learning in a book and learning how to master, and you guys do a great job and you're learning it, it's wonderful. But there's a disconnect between what students can write in a book or write in an exercise and what they use in their speech and what they're comfortable using in messages and emails and texting. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you understand when and where you use this grammar, not just how to make it. Have, has, plus verb in the third form. Done. There, you got it. The structure is pretty simple with this. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to empower you to understand the situations when you would choose present perfect. When present perfect is the only tense that you should be choosing. And when present perfect could really portray a different meaning, emotion, or feeling. So first things first with life experiences. Now, again, present perfect, the umbrella rule for this is something happened in the past. It's still true now. So a life experience. You were born and you're still alive. So anything between the moment you were born to this moment as you're watching this video, this is a life experience. So if I were to talk about my grandmother, well, my grandmother has passed away. Passed away is a nice way of saying died. We don't say died. We avoid negative words in English. So my grandmother has passed away. So she's no longer with us. So if I talk about anything in my grandmother's life, it's going to be past simple or past continuous. But it will never be present perfect because she's no longer living. So if you talk about your life experiences, if I talk about my life experiences without a time, present perfect. That's all you're going to use. Let me give you some examples here. So we use this with ever and never when we're asking questions and answering questions, or we're talking about things that we want to do. Have you ever been to London? No, I've never been to London. Yeah, I've been to London. Yes, I went to London in 2022. Okay, so I'm giving a time, that's past simple. But for questions and answers, positive and negative, you want present perfect. Let me give you a bunch of examples here. I visited Japan twice. Talking about a life experience. You're not saying when you went there. You're not saying anything about a time in the past. You're just saying it's been an experience of yours. Or have you ever had issues with your computer? This is something that people ask in HR all the time. Have you ever had issues with a previous colleague? Have you ever had issues with a previous manager? Have you ever had a time when a client wasn't happy with your work? They're asking you about your life experience. And that all those questions were in present perfect. So yes, I have had an issue with my manager before. And you're going to describe the situation. This is a life experience which you've had. I've worked on multiple big projects. You're not saying when, you're not saying where, you're not saying with who, you're not pinning it to a time. This is fantastic grammar for interviews. You're talking about all the experience that you have. I've worked on multiple projects with this team. No, I worked on multiple projects last year. That's your past simple because you're giving it a set time. Or talking about someone's experience. Oh, this is Bob. He's been to the head office 4 times in Virginia. He's been to the head office 4 times. That's an experience that Bob has had. It doesn't always have to be about you. It could be about someone else. It could be about an item. It could be about a person. It could be about a team. And of course, it could be a question. The CEO has never flown in a private jet. He always flies coach. Coach means economy, by the way. So the CEO has never flown on a private jet, or the CEO's never flown. The CEO's, the S is the contraction of he has, or CEO has. Another one here, have you ever tried Korean food? No, I've never tried Korean food. Well, let's take the client there. I think they'll like it. Do you think they've ever tried Korean food? I'm not sure if they've ever tried Korean food, but they might like it. So all of that was present perfect because we're talking about experiences. Okay, let's keep going. We have a lot of categories to get through and a lot of examples to give you guys. So the next part here, we talked about life experiences. Now we're talking about something in the past that has a connection to now. So we use this with decisions, plans, ideas, or feelings. So you made a decision in the past, but it has a connection to now. Obviously, you need to do something with it. You had an idea in the past. Now you have this idea now. You're going to work with it. So anytime you make a decision, you have a plan, an idea, or a feeling that has come to you, well, that's going to be present perfect because that decision, idea, plan, feeling connects to now. It's going to change what you do right now. Let me give you some examples. I've decided to apply for the promotion. I've decided to apply for the promotion. You go to your manager. The manager says, listen, there's a great promotion available at the company. Think about it. Come back to me. Open your manager's door. I've decided to apply for the promotion. You can say, I decided yesterday to apply for the promotion. But by saying I've decided to apply for the promotion, it means right now, this is my plan. I made a decision. This is where I'm going with it. This is very powerful English. We've changed the marketing plan. So you sit down to a big meeting. You're looking at marketing for the following year. And we've changed the marketing plan. So you could say we changed the marketing plan last week, last month. That's just a fact in the past. But if you say we've changed the marketing plan, hello, thump on the desk, or send it to everyone in the meeting, we've changed the marketing plan. It means we changed the marketing plan, past simple. Now we have a new one. And if you want to put the focus on the new one, on the connection of a past action to now, you want your present perfect. We've changed the marketing plan. Here's what we're doing now. We've changed our mind on working with that client. This is who we're working with now. We've changed our opinion about this supplier. Now we're going with them. So if something happened in the past, and there's a connection to now, and if it's an idea, a decision, a plan, or a feeling, present perfect is your best friend here. Okay, present perfect with unfinished time periods. This is one that a lot of students have difficulty with, that I find. So if a period of time is not finished, present perfect is perfect for you. So for example, if you're looking at this year's not done. Today, this month, this hour, this morning. If you're still within the period of time you're speaking about, then present perfect is perfect. Present perfect is perfect. Present perfect is ideal for your sentence, for your sentences, because that time is not done. I've received 25 emails from the client this week. This week is not done. So you're saying that on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday in this week. And again, a week is 5 days. The week, the work week, the school week is Monday to Friday, 5 days. You have the week, you have the weekend, not a week. So if you're talking about something that's in an unfinished period of time, this is going to be your go-to. Let me give you some examples here. And again, this could be year, month, day, morning, a project. If the project is, the set time for the project, all this works really well. So I've worked hard all week. So you wouldn't say this on Monday. It makes no sense. You could do it as a joke, but it makes no sense. But if it's Thursday or Friday, I've worked hard all week on this project. So from Monday right to today, I've worked very, very hard. Or she spent a lot of time on the budget this month. So you're talking about, Sally, and she's your finance manager, and she's worked hard on the budget this month, or she's worked on the budget all month. And this means you're still in that month. So if she's been working hard on the budget in January, you would not say this in present perfect if it's February. But if that time you're talking about where an action happened has not finished, present perfect is perfect for this. I have to find a better way to say present perfect is perfect. Present perfect is ideal for this. Okay. Next one. We've had 3 important meetings today. So within today, we've had 3 important meetings, but the day's not over. Maybe I will have more meetings. Maybe I won't. You're not saying that. You're just saying in this collection of time from my work hours, whether it's 8 to 4 or 9 to 6, I've had 3 important meetings. Our department has had 3 important meetings today. So this day is not over. That's why I'm saying it. When the day is done, and when we say day can mean 2 things. Day could be 24 hours. Day could be from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Day could be your work day. So there's a lot of flexibility in there. And I think therein lies a lot of the issues and nervousness with using little bits of grammar, because so many words have different meanings. So if you're talking about 24 hours, that's one thing. If you're talking about from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, that's another thing. When we talk about meetings, I've had 3 important meetings today. It means in my work day. I mean, whether I clock in, clock off, start work, finish work. That's what it means if you don't know. So within my work day, if I've had 4 important meetings within my work day, I've had 4 important meetings today, it means within my work day, not after my work day. It's a little tricky, that one. Or our company has grown very quickly this year. Our company has grown immensely this year. So this year, you wouldn't say this about the previous year. You're talking about what's happening right now. It's March 2026, and our company has grown quickly this year. And so you're talking from January 1st, including now. That's exactly what it means. Okay, next one here, you probably know. This is probably the easiest one of all the grammar rules for present perfect because you would have learned this at your B1 intermediate level. This is for and since. So I've worked for this company for 3 years. I've worked for this company since 2024. So when we talk about for, we're putting a focus on the number. For 2 hours, for 3 years, for 5 seconds, whatever the case may be, we're putting the focus on the time, the duration of time. We can say the exact same sentence with since. I've worked for this company since 2023 for 3 years. I've been working on this report for 2 hours. So when we have for, it's the duration of time. When we say since, we want to put a focus on when I started something. So depending on what focus you want people to hear what you're saying, you choose for or since. So for example, if you've been waiting for something for someone and you say, I've been waiting for the file from Bill for 2 hours. I've been waiting for the file for Bill since 10 o'clock. If you want to say, wow, since 10 o'clock, I've been waiting. That's your focus since. If you want to say, I've been waiting for the file for 2 hours, you want to put a focus on the duration of time. It's a lot stronger to put a focus on the duration of time than the since, just so you know. So if you do want to stress, imagine waiting in line for service at the airport, at the check-in desk. I've been standing here for 10 minutes. Or I've been waiting here, or I've been standing here since 10:10 or 10:20. So if you put a focus on the actual amount of time, the duration of time, it's stronger. So if you do need to emphasize how long you've been waiting for something or doing something, for is a lot stronger here. But again, for and since, you want to make sure you know when you're using it, and you do want to include the present perfect. Now, this is the one situation where you can really swap out present perfect continuous and present perfect. These are very much interchangeable. I could say, I've worked here since 2020. I've been working here since 2020. No difference. Both are perfectly fine. I've lived here for 3 years. I've lived here since 2023. Perfect, completely interchangeable. The only really feeling of difference here is if we use the continuous, we're kind of putting a focus on the action. So if, as opposed to a fact. So if you say, I've worked here at this company since 2023, you're stating a fact. If you say, I've been working here since 2023, you're focusing on all the work you did. So if you really want to put a focus on the action that started in the past, that's still continuing in the present, you want to use present perfect continuous. Completely, they're interchangeable. The only time you don't want to use continuous is if it's a non-action verb. So, oh, I've known John for 10 years. You can't say, I've been knowing John. So a non-action verb is a verb that you can't see happening. Feel, love, know, hate. You can't see these things. You can't see these things. They're non-action verbs. Non-action verbs can't go in the present in the continuous form or the present perfect continuous at all. Okay, this next category is huge. This next category is the category where you excel in present perfect when it comes to interviews or talking about yourself. This is kind of like life experiences, but we use present perfect to talk about accomplishments, achievements, things you've done which you're proud of, things you've done which matter now. These are goals you had, you've achieved them. Therefore, now they're an accomplishment. Just think of a war hero with his suit on, and he has all those badges and all those stripes. He's showing all of his, or she, all their accomplishments. And this is exactly where present perfect works beautifully for interviews, for talking about yourself, for defending your work, for defending your position, especially in interviews, talking about yourself and all the things you've accomplished. Let me give you some examples here. So these are past actions that are important now. This is Jane. She's received 3 promotions. Wow, that's incredible. She's received 3 promotions. That's an accomplishment. Not everyone receives 3 promotions. Or our team has reached all its targets. So let's say you manage a team and you go to the director of your company saying, listen, we need new equipment, or we need to have a team building exercise or a getaway, or we need this, we need that. So, and your CEO or your manager is saying, no, not going to happen. And then you want to put a focus on everything that your team has accomplished, all the achievements that you've reached, all the goals you've achieved. This is when you want to use present perfect. You can say our team reached all its targets. You're just saying that as a fact. Last year we had targets. Last quarter we had targets. We reached them. You're saying it as a fact. But if you say our team has reached all its targets, by choosing present perfect, you're saying this is something they did in the past, which is a major achievement. It's something they've accomplished, and this matters now. So this is where grammar really does play a huge role in the words that you're choosing and the way you're presenting yourself and the way you're talking about something. This is huge. This is immense, this type of grammar. Another one, talking about your competitor. They've opened 3 offices in Asia. They've opened 3 offices in Asia. Now, maybe you're having a big meeting, talking about your biggest competitor, how they're expanding, how you guys keep up. Well, Company X, they've opened 3 offices in Asia. You're saying that as an achievement, as an accomplishment on their part. You can just say they opened 3 offices in Asia last year, or they opened 3 offices in Asia as a fact. But if you use present perfect, you're putting the focus on that being an achievement, a goal that they had, which they accomplished, which they achieved, and it makes it so much stronger. Look what they achieved. We need to meet that. We need to get to the same level as them. This is very strong grammar. One more example here would be, I finished the research for the project. So your manager calls you in. Where are you at with the project? How's the timeline going? You can say perfectly in past simple, I finished the research for the project. Now moving on to development. Past simple. I finished the research for the project. Now I'm moving on to the development. Past simple just means it's a fact. Something I did in the past, completed it. But you can say, I finished the research for the project, which means, dun, 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 right now I sit with this invisible trophy, this invisible badge of great work. I've achieved something. I've done something. I've accomplished something. I've finished the research for the project. And again, in writing, I have finished. Spoken, I've. And this means this was not an easy task. This is something I consider an accomplishment or I consider an achievement. Okay, the very last category we have here is with time, recent events, something that happened recently. And recently means, recently could be this month, if you're talking about something big, or it could be this week, or today, or an hour ago, or 5 seconds ago. This is when we use already, or yet, or still. This is a recent event, and this is when you want to use present perfect. Because it's so recent, it's so close to now, you're putting the focus on that. So for example, if you use just, it means it's a very recent action. I've just sent the report to the client. If you say, I sent the report to the client, you're not saying when, you're not saying, but I've just sent it means I've just pressed send. It's just been done a little time ago. Or already, this is really good for positives or in a question. Have you already eaten? Do you want to go for lunch? Or I've already eaten. Thanks so much for the invite. So already just means something has already happened. It happened just recently in the day or in the time or in the small collection of time. You don't want to go too far back in time with this. Or recently, this is what it is. It's not very long ago. I've recently heard that news. I've recently updated the platform. So this is something that happened very recently, not long ago. Yet is for questions and negatives. Have you contacted the client yet? They seem pretty upset. No, I haven't contacted them yet, but I will. Or yes, I've already contacted them. So yet is with negatives and with questions. And last one is still, and still is for a negative question. So I still haven't contacted them. I will contact them later. I've still not contacted them, still negative. I will contact them later. Let me give you some examples here. They've just sent the contract. So waiting for the client to send the contract. Did the client send the contract yet? They've just sent the contract. So they've just sent the contract. Okay, first one. I in Berlin and Munich. I in Berlin and Munich. I've worked in Berlin and Munich. I'm not giving it time. I'm talking about a life experience. They in Kuwait in 2018. They in Kuwait in 2018. Well, we're given the time, so we have to use past simple. They worked, it's a past year. They worked in Kuwait in 2018. You can't use present perfect there because we're giving the time. You can say they've worked in Kuwait. Perfect. Once the year is given, once the time of the past is given, you can't use present perfect. Next one, I 3 meetings so far today. I 3 meetings so far today. So far today. Today is not over. I've had, or I have had. I've had 3 meetings so far today. I've had 3 meetings so far today. I 3 meetings yesterday. I 3 meetings yesterday. Well, yesterday is not today. There's no connection to now. So I had 3 meetings yesterday. I had 3 meetings yesterday. My file, so I can't send the report. My file, so I can't send the report. Right now, I cannot send the report. That's my current situation. Because of a past action, I've lost my file, so I can't send the report. Send the report. I can't send the report. Why? So this is a current situation I have. A past action affects is connected to my current situation. This is where you need the present perfect. Okay. I just sent the email. I just sent the email. I have just sent the email. I have just sent the email. You want to say has. Has is reserved for he, she, and it. That's all. So I have just sent the email. And again, we're always contracting. A lot of students will say, I don't hear the present perfect so much. No, you don't. Nobody says, I have just sent the file. I've just sent the file. You're always going to hear us contracting. Always. That's why there's a kind of a disconnect between the language you're learning. I have just sent the file. I have just sent the file. 6 words. You're not going to hear 6 words. You're going to hear I've, which is I have just sent the file. So that makes it tricky. So really tune your ear into that contracted have or has. She's just left the company. She's just left the company. She has. You're not going to hear has. People don't talk like that. You're going to see it written, but not in spoken. She's just left the company. So allow your ear to know that you're not going to hear the have and has in full form. The next one here, she has already the report. She has already the report. She has already finished or finished. Well, has already, that's present perfect. Your verb goes into the 3rd form. If you're of some nationalities where you don't pronounce the entire word in your own nationality or your own language, for example, I live in Spain, I live in Andalusia, and the end of a word just flies out the window. They don't pronounce the end of the word. So if someone says, she has already finished the report, I guarantee you they would not have written that or typed that. They would have put finished. But if you don't pronounce the end of the word, your grammar sounds like it's bad. So make sure you're pronouncing the finished. And I do have a full video on ED pronunciation. This is incredibly important. I'll link to it in the bottom of this description of this video as well. The next one here, we receive their answer yet. We receive their answer yet. We didn't receive their answer yet. We haven't received their answer yet. Well, present perfect, you want have and has. You don't need did. You don't need don't. You don't need any doesn't or didn't. You want to always use the have and has. So we haven't received their answer yet. The very last one, he still replied to my email. Something hasn't happened. He still replied to my email. He still didn't reply to my email? No. He still hasn't replied to my email? That's the one you want. There's an extra rule that goes here about 1 past tense per sentence in English. Didn't is past, so you can't say replied. Those are 2 past terms. So you want to say he still hasn't replied to my email. Okay, hopefully you did well with your little test there at the end. And through this video, you have a better understanding of when, where, and how to use the present perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did find this helpful, let me know down below in the comments. I'll be going through a whole lot of grammar videos, diving deep into areas of grammar that upper intermediate and advanced level ESL speakers either continually make mistakes with or are a little uncomfortable with, and this being one of them. Thank you so much for joining me.